Hey everybody, how you doing? Welcome to Pillow Talk with Dr. Boyce and Dr. Alicia Watkins. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins. I'm here with my lovely wife, Dr. Alicia. How you doing today, babe?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm happy that we can talk about this again because we tried to talk about it a few days ago and it didn't work. Our audio wasn't working.
Oh my
So,
God, it was just terrible. It was so bad. Now I'm really. It's like my worst nightmare during the podcast actually coming to life where the audio's bad. So actually, before I get started, and I say hello to Todd and Liberian Queen and Terry Cobb out of Atlanta, and Melcon and Ivy. Give us a yes in the chat if you can hear us. Okay. Dennis, can you hear us? Can you hear us? Okay. Carolyn, out of Detroit. Okay, nice. We were in Detroit not too long ago. Give us a yes in the chat if you can hear us. Okay. We are talking about a pretty heavy topic. God, I mean, it's like, oof, this is a tough one. This lady, Nicole Linton, who caused this terrible car accident in California. I mean, just terrible. Drove through an intersection, full speed, killed a beautiful young black woman and her two children, her unborn child.
wait, how many people were in the car? It seems like there was the whole car full of people.
I know she's being charged with 6 counts of murder, if I'm not
Six
mistaken.
counts.
Yeah, 6 counts of murder,
Jeez.
and that poor little girl. I mean, just she was headed to one of her prenatal appointments, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, they said she was in her third trimester. And I think I was talking about how exciting it is to be ready to deliver your baby and to go see the doctor right at the end there.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
you're always in a good mood when you're like right at the end and it's almost over and you're excited and anxious and everybody, the whole family, everybody's all ready for you to deliver. They are not ready to have a funeral.
no, no. I mean,
Not ready.
who expects to have a funeral? At a time like this, and especially for a baby, and it's just I mean, it's just and it was so unnecessary, and it's like there are a lot of emotions that go through your mind when you hear about a story like this. I mean, there's just fear of like, oh my God, what if that happened to me? There's anger and like what were you doing? Why would you do this? And then there's just like confusion. I think
Well,
like
yeah, I
what
mean,
happened?
there's a lot of confusion because this lady basically left this accident. She caused this accident and she basically walked away.
Yeah.
Like, how could she have survived that accident? I don't understand that at all.
Well, did you weren't you the one who said that like in well at least with now this they're saying that the DA I think was saying that they don't believe alcohol or drugs played a part in this. I'd be curious to see what they mean exactly when they say it doesn't play a role. Does that mean that she was completely alcohol or drug free, or if that means that they just don't believe it played a role, right? But
Well, they had to. I mean, if she had alcohol or any sort of substance in her system, they would have tested her for it.
mm,
And so when they say it didn't play a role, that means there just was nothing detected in her system. I'm almost certain when she went to the hospital, they took blood and they drew blood and they ran all sorts of tests on her.
mm. Well, can't you? Okay, so you're
So that's just what
aren't
they do.
aren't you sort of legally allowed to like deny or not submit to like those tests?
I don't think so. No, I
Okay.
mean an investigation. It's a criminal
Well, I know that
investigation.
when my daughter got hit by a drunk driver
Hmm.
earlier this year, they asked him to take a breathalyzer and a drug test, and he said no.
So how did they know he was drinking?
I think that it came. Oh, he took a field sobriety test, and he
Okay.
failed the field sobriety test. So I don't know. I mean, I'm trying to figure out what was going on, right? And it's interesting because I remember one time getting hit by a woman that was clearly under the influence of something, but it wasn't like it could have been drugs, it could have been alcohol, it could have been a mental health issue, or she could have been having a really terrible day. She
Hmm.
hit the back of my car, and I'm like, whoa, so she hit my car. So I get out of my car and I walk up to her window.
Hmm.
She doesn't roll down the window. And so I tap on the window, like, excuse me, I need your attention. She opens up her window and like, what do you want? And I said, you hit my car. We got to exchange information. And all she said was, I just want to go home. And I was like, yeah, I know you want to go home. I do too, but you hit my car. Like, we're going to deal with this. So I had a feeling when I went to the car to wait for the police, call the police. I felt like she was going to drive away.
Then
So
she drove
she
off,
she
didn't
drove
she?
off,
Yeah.
and when she drove off, This happened in Pittsburgh. I'll never forget it. 2004. I caught her license plate number. I wrote it down. I called the police. I said we were just a victim of a hit and run. And do you know that this lady ran over two people on her way home? And I asked the cop because I saw police cars coming by with their sirens on, and I thought they were coming for us, and they weren't. They went past us. And I said, well, the people that she hit, they had to go to her house and get her. They followed her to her house. I said, "Were the people okay?" And he said, "No, they weren't okay."
Gee whiz, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, well, I think like in hospital, because I used to work in a hospital, and I think like in hospitals they just do a workup on you. They're gonna draw blood, and if it's a criminal investigation like this, I'm not even certain that you can resist. I think it has to be part of evidence,
Mm.
So I'm sure she was on a police hold. Like I know how it works. They put what they do if when you're in a hospital and you commit a crime like that, they put a police officer right there with you. You have a police officer in there with
Mm.
you, keeping an eye on you the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so what it is.
Well, I think it's all just sad because it's so unnecessary. But I mean, mental health crises, I guess they just happen on their own
Mm-hmm.
time. And this is the poor young lady that got killed. Her last name was Ryan, Asher Ray Ryan. She was 23 years old. She was in the car with
Oh,
her,
she's so young.
yeah,
Oh
with
my
her
goodness.
child's father. He's all excited. He's got the milk with
Look
the
at him. He
yeah,
was excited.
proud dad. And I mean, just took it all away from them. And I saw people that were trying to make it racial. Like they felt bad for the lady who was accused. Like, oh, she's a black woman. You don't want to attack this black woman. I said, I don't think race has anything to do with this.
Wait, what do you mean? What did they say? You don't want to attack
Well,
this black woman?
there were people that were defending her, and they were saying, no, 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 she didn't have drugs or alcohol in her system. Not, I'm like, maybe she didn't, but what was going on here?
Wait, how can somebody defend her? What were people saying in terms of defending her? Because I'm not certain how you could defend
I
somebody who's
think
killed.
people took issue with the fact that there were people who assumed that she must have been under the influence, and they spent more time defending the woman who killed everybody than they spent defending the woman who got killed.
Oh, well, I don't know. I didn't see anybody
Yeah,
defending
there
her,
were
so
people.
I
Yeah,
missed I missed I missed the defending her
yeah. Well, I know.
part.
What's her name? There's somebody I follow on Instagram. Forgot her name, but she went off. She said, "I'll be damned if y'all gonna have me defending a lady who had 13 prior car crashes and killed a whole family." And she
Hmm.
got really offended, as if there was a lot of online chatter about sort of defending her.
Yeah. So I think what we have to do is we have to I think people just get kind of really upset when when people try to explain things and they try to present different perspectives about what would lead somebody to want to go head on into traffic at 90 miles an hour. Like she is going to serve time almost certain in prison, even if she has an insanity plea, which she could clearly justify. But for insanity pleas, you get more jail time than you do without insanity. So if you don't
Mm-hmm.
do a sanity plea. So anyway, if she was clinically insane, it doesn't even matter. She's not going to see the light of day, and she shouldn't. So I think she should go to jail. That's the consequences to her behavior. But at the same time, we can also spend some time trying to tease all of this out, deconstruct all of this stuff, and try to explain what what was going on, which is different from excusing her behavior.
Mm.
Yeah.
By the way, everybody, you're watching Pillow Talk with Dr. Boyce and Dr. Alicia Watkins. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins. My PhD is in finance. My wife's doctorate is in social work. She's a full professor of social work. Also, she's a licensed therapist, and she has been doing therapy for over 20 years. And we like to get together against our pillows. And we figured that it would be fun for two scholars who love each other and believe in Black love and Black family to have hopefully intelligent and fun conversations about things happening in the Black community. If you could take 1 second and please hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, share, subscribe if you haven't done it yet. Also, if you'd like to get a free e-copy of my book, Financial Lovemaking, and also get a lot of relationship information from Dr. Alicia, visit boyceandalicia.com. The URL is right there on the screen, boyceandalicia.com. Now, what I want to do with everybody real quick is I want to show you the video
Oh,
of
you're gonna show the
her
video?
driving through the
Oh
intersection.
my
Yeah. So
goodness.
be ready. This video's,
You
it's
have to do
hard
a
to
trigger
watch.
warning.
Yeah. Well, I want to do a trigger warning just in
Mm-hmm.
case, because I know personally, I don't enjoy watching it, but I have a specific question I want to ask you.
You
Uh,
want to ask me? Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Because here's the deal. You and I went to Guyana for a year in 2017.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And the reason you were there was because you were the first faculty member in the history of your university to win a Fulbright, which made me very proud of you, by the way.
Oh, okay.
And you were there because of suicide.
Mm-hmm.
You were there because they have an issue of people taking their lives, and you're an expert in this area. And I want to ask you, based on this video, and I'm gonna play it for everybody. Do you think that she was trying to take her life? I believe she was. And let's watch the video, and then everybody else can kind of be the judge. So the video will start right now. The intersection looks pretty calm right there.
Look at that. Just another regular day. Woo!
Yeah, she came through like, I mean,
Boy.
like a bullet. It's like a bullet.
I mean, that's like a residential street. Just that is. Look at the fire.
And look at the people that are driving past. I
They
mean,
can't even
can
believe
you
it.
imagine going through that intersection?
I mean, just like I bet the people who saw that, I bet they can't even get in their car and start driving.
I don't
I
even know.
bet they are just really affected by this.
Yeah, I don't even know if they can hear us talking about this right now. I don't know if the audio
Oh,
got taken.
probably.
I have no idea if the audio is muted. Can y'all hear us right now? Okay, I don't think they can hear us.
Maybe it is muted.
Okay, there we go. Let me pull this down now. So, based on what we just saw, um, how many of y'all believe that this woman was trying to take her own life? I believe she was, but as you know, Dr. Alicia is an expert on suicide. Or oh, you can hear us. Oh, y'all could hear us.
They
Okay,
could hear us.
good thing I didn't say anything crazy, right? Um, okay, yeah. All right. So, how many of y'all believe that she was trying to take her own life in this video?
I mean, that is awful. It's like, how could she not have? The thing is that she was so entrenched in her pain and so entrenched in her own stuff. She didn't even stop to think about how other people could be affected by it,
Hmm.
by her just driving so reckless. It's like not even any sort of regard for innocent people because she's in a lot of pain. She's going to transfer this pain over into another family by doing something like this.
Well, and it was just tragic and sad. I guess since they can hear us talk, well,
Hmm.
I'll show it again. But it's sad to me because it that comes off as that feels selfish to me. But I don't know. Is it because maybe if you're in that much pain, you just don't care about other
You're
people?
not even thinking about it. You're not. It's when you're in this state of arousal and you're in this state of just anger and upset and arousal, you can only just think about you really cannot think about the other person or anybody else. All you're doing is thinking about the pain that you're in.
Mm,
And it's just sad because people who are in that state, they just do things like this. And now she lived, like that's the poetic justice about it. Part about it is that she is alive to have to deal with the consequences of her behavior.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
she's got to sit in that courtroom and probably look at the family of the victims of that night, of that day, and
yeah.
she's got to face them.
She sure does. She sure does.
I mean,
Well,
how awful.
I also read something that was really interesting when they were trying to dissect the source of her heartbreak. And in 2017, she was actually engaged to be married to a brother that happened to be a friend of Usain Bolt's. He was a track athlete in Jamaica.
Hmm.
And I don't have the brother's name in front of me. His last name was Mason. And
Uh-huh.
so Nicole was engaged to marry this brother in Jamaica. And he got killed in a motorcycle convoy.
In a motorcycle accident.
And he was riding with Usain Bolt at the time. Like in this group of
Usain Bolt got into a motorcycle accident?
No, Usain Bolt was in the convoy. It was like those motorcycle groups that kind of ride together as a group.
Oh my goodness, yes.
Yeah, yeah, and there was actually like pictures online of Usain Bolt crying at his funeral, and she had a post up, where she basically said R.I.P. To Jermaine. Jermaine was his name, Jermaine Mason, if I'm not mistaken. And so they, her friends were basically saying that she was, that she never really recovered from that.
Oh, interesting. So I'm just curious about her friends because it seems like there is a friend that was pretty much in tune with what was happening with her.
Well,
And who is this friend? And
yeah.
when you're friends with somebody and you see them kind of unravel, you have to help them get some help. You have to
Well,
say, look, you need to see a professional.
what do you do if you have I mean, you're an expert on on people taking their lives. What do you do if you have a friend that you think might do something like that? Because you and I met that poor brother from Minneapolis, the police officer who said his own brother took his life, and he thought he was helping him. He was talking to him about it, about his
Man.
problems, and then he realized that his brother kept saying okay whenever he was giving him solutions, but he never really bought into the solution. His
Oh
solution
my
was the
goodness.
ultimate solution. What do you do if you got a friend who's just in a bad space? Like what's some healthy ways to kind of respond
I
to
mean,
that, Miss Expert?
you definitely need to get them into some treatment. It would be really nice if you reach out to other people. So I know, if you have a friend and you know that they're really struggling, you reach out to other people. So you get a team of people together. You call their mama, call their dad, call get in contact with their child or whoever's important to them, and all of you all put your heads together and say, we're kind of concerned about Nicole. Is her name is Nicole? We're kind of concerned about Nicole. She's telling me this. What is she telling you? Let's all check in on her. Let's see if all of us can do an intervention. See if all of us can. You can even reach out to a helping professional and have them come in and say, listen, we're really concerned about our loved one. Let's get them some help. So an intervention would be really nice.
Mm.
Yeah, for
Well,
sure.
well, they said that she suffered a broken arm and a broken foot and a broken wrist in the accident.
Oh,
And
really?
it was
Okay.
her airbag. Apparently, Mercedes must have really good airbags. So the airbag made the difference. The LA Times also says that Linton was charged Monday with 6 counts of murder and 5 counts of gross vehicular manslaughter.
Yeah.
The vehicular manslaughter charges are for the deaths of the 4 adults and the baby, who was about 2 weeks shy of his first birthday. Ryan's unborn child cannot be included in those charges. Linton faces up to life in prison if convicted of all charges. So her bail was set at 9 million, but they said that she's a flight risk because she was set to leave LA and travel to Hawaii for her work as a traveling nurse.
Yeah, you mentioned something about her history of mental health issues, and why would that hospital hire her knowing that she had mental health issues. And I think earlier when we were talking about this topic, I don't think that we need to get into some space where we're stigmatizing people with mental health. There are people with mental health issues that live very full lives,
Right.
and they get it under control, and they can be married, have children, you know live a life that's normal as long as you get it under control. It's like somebody with high blood pressure. You take your
Wait,
medication.
hold up,
Wait, what?
hold up, hold up.
What?
No,
What?
no, I'm
What?
sorry, but I'm gonna have to stop you with
What
that.
you saying?
I respect your expertise, that, babe, and I
What?
think
Wait. What
I
are you
think,
talking
and
about?
I think you're cute. But I would not put mental health issues, especially those that could be dangerous, homicidal, suicidal, etc., on the same level as high blood pressure. Ain't nobody killed nobody because they got high blood pressure. Now you might
No,
kill
no, no, no,
yourself.
no. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm
Okay,
saying is
go
that
ahead.
you were the idea came up that because how could this hospital hire her knowing that she had mental health issues?
Mm-hmm.
So what I was saying is just because you have mental health issues doesn't mean that you can't live a full life.
Okay.
It's the fact that she didn't get it under control. Like you need to get your diabetes under control. There's medication for that. There's medication for and treatment for people with mental health issues.
Well,
Hmm.
I don't disagree with
Yeah,
that. I
that's
mean,
all I was saying.
I think clearly people with mental health issues, they shouldn't be stigmatized, right? But I
Right.
think the question is here's the big question. And actually, before I mention that, I want to ask everybody: could you please take 1 second, hit the thumbs up, share, subscribe button. You are watching right now, watching Pillow Talk with Dr. Boyce and Dr. Alicia Watkins. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins, and this is my wife, Dr. Alicia Watkins. And she sees clients on a regular basis. She helps lots of people with relationships, and she's also a big matchmaker and all these other things. So if you're interested in learning more about what Dr. Alicia does, and her doctorate is real. It's not, it's not one of those internet doctors. We went through real trauma to get it.
Oh
You
my
can go you can go
gosh.
to coachingwithdralicia.com and take a look at the services she provides. And you can also follow her on Instagram at Coaching with Dr. Alicia. Now back to Nicole Linton. Here is to me
Mm-hmm.
the mental health issue that crossed that line between just somebody having some issues versus somebody that could be dangerous.
Right,
And people have
right.
mentioned this in the chat. This lady was involved with 13 car accidents before this one. 13 accidents. Now I'm gonna ask everybody, give me a yes or no in the chat. Yes or no, yes or no. In your whole entire life, how many of you give me a yes if you have had less than 13 car accidents in your life? Give me a yes in the chat, and I'm looking for one no. I'm looking for that one person we need to go do an intervention who has had 13 or more accidents. Give me a yes if you have had less. Give me a yes if you had less than 13 accidents in your life. Okay,
Where she
Dennis.
caused the accident, where she was on a, she
I
caused it,
don't
or was
care.
it?
I don't care. You could be the most unlucky person on the planet, but you
I
ain't
know
nobody.
people that get in
Ain't
accidents
nobody.
all the
If
time.
you get hit 13 times, that means you ain't paying. So you doing
Yeah,
something wrong.
I ain't getting in the car with you.
Nobody gets that unlucky.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
That means the devil has cursed your soul. God has forsaken you. Seriously, 13 accidents is a lot.
That is a lot.
And that what it makes me think about. Not to be TMI, but there was a lady that used to they used to be smitten with me back in the day,
Mm-hmm.
and I was a little smitten with her because she was pretty, she was smart, she had a nice little job, whatever. It was back in my single days before I got a chance to meet the most beautiful woman in the world. So she used to call me. She was doing well, made a lot of money. Um, but I figured out after a while that I said, okay, she's a little off balance, and she used to call me at 1 o'clock in the morning, drunk as hell, driving her Mercedes, and didn't even care that she was drunk. And I remember, not to say now Nicole wasn't drunk, she wasn't drunk, so this was a little bit of a different situation. But I remember thinking, what kind of an arrogant jerk do you have to be to think that it's okay for you to get drunk and get behind the wheel of your Mercedes? I do not want to be around a person like that. So when I hear about this lady having 13 accidents, and then I see that footage of her driving full speed through a crowded intersection, I can't help but feel like a little bit angry. I don't know. A therapist, Dr. Alicia, I need you to put on your therapy hat and help me deal with the anger I'm feeling because I'm mad at this lady a little bit. I'm
Mm-hmm.
real pissed at her. I feel like she deserves whatever she has coming.
Oh yeah, for
Part of me
sure.
feels that way because I'm
Oh
I'm
yeah.
mad. I'm mad for the baby. I'm mad for that little girl who's going to get that, going to get her checkup. I'm mad for all of them. I don't know what do you think?
Oh yeah. I think being angry about the whole thing is appropriate. Like we're supposed to be kind of outraged by what this lady has done, and the effect. It's senseless. Yeah, absolutely. We should be very upset. These are innocent people that were just riding along in their car, and they probably did not literally know what hit them. I mean, if you look at that video, it's just almost like you can't even. I bet that no one saw it coming. And did you hear the lady? I think I talked to you about this before. There was a lady at the gas station putting gas in her car, and she said the baby flew out of the car, and landed at her feet, boys.
Mm,
Unbelievable. Yes, the baby. I mean, that is just,
mm.
oh my goodness. I couldn't even imagine
Well,
what that's like.
here's more information just in case
Okay.
anybody's interested in the backdrop. So Nicole Linton, she let's see here. They said she took a cocktail waitressing job after she lost her job as a sales manager for GM due to company restructuring. Her life unraveled after the 2017 death of Olympic silver medalist Jermaine Mason. So this is according to the Daily Mail. Jermaine Mason, who she had told friends that she planned to marry. Mason was killed in a motorcycle accident while riding in a convoy in Jamaica with a group of athletes,
Jeez.
including his close friend, sprinter Usain Bolt. So she was engaged to Jermaine years ago, and apparently they were close. And she was going to marry Jermaine. Jermaine
Mm.
gets killed. She's now facing 6 years, 6 charges of murder following last Thursday's crash, and faces up to 90 years in prison if convicted. She had previously been involved in 13 accidents, and her lawyer says she has a profound history of mental health issues. She's a traveling nurse licensed in California, Texas, and Hawaii, but the company that hired her has refused to comment on their vetting process. Now, I'm really curious about this. I'm not a lawyer, but
Mm-hmm.
this question about this, I'm really wondering what why strategically her lawyer has mentioned that she has a profound history of mental health issues.
Probably because they're gonna do an insanity plea.
Oh, okay.
Which it doesn't make a difference whether they do one or not. She's not going to see the light of day, even if she gets the insanity plea.
Well, she definitely ain't gonna never be behind the wheel.
She'll never be behind the
I
wheel.
mean,
She's not gonna.
that wasn't meant to be a joke. I'm
She
sorry. I
is
know it,
not going
but
to
I don't
be.
think I
She's
can.
not even going to leave the jailhouse. There's no way she could leave. I'd be very surprised, even if she got it as insanity. What they'll do is that the reason why it may make sense to for her to have an insanity plea is because she'll be placed in a special prison,
Okay,
for
okay,
people who have profound mental health issues where they can treat you properly. So maybe that
mm,
might be the place where she's going to be. So no, it doesn't even matter. She's not, she's not going to get out.
okay.
It's not going to get her off, you know.
Well, here's more. Here's more that's
Okay.
here. This is what her friend said. She had a close friend who did this exclusive interview, basically giving her assessment. Her friend said, "When I saw what had happened in LA, the first thing that went through my mind was that she had argued with her boyfriend and was drunk and trying to commit suicide." A source close
Gee.
to Nicole Linton, 37, said in an exclusive interview, "She had threatened to do it before. I thought maybe this time she had gone through with it. Authorities have found no evidence of alcohol or drugs in Linton's system,
Told you.
but she had reportedly argued with her boyfriend before getting into her black Mercedes Benz and tearing through the busy intersection about 10 miles southwest of downtown LA." Now, what I'm thinking about too is just, and again, if she is mentally ill, then I guess none of it applies, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But I've seen people where they've gotten into arguments with their significant other. Maybe they're arguing in the car, in the car crashes. I've seen that. I know people where that kind of thing has happened.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe they just got upset after a fight and then went and did something stupid. I think that it seems to me
Yeah.
like a good exercise would be to learn how to calibrate your emotions so that
Mm-hmm.
you have the emotional intelligence to not make a terrible mistake like this, in the heat of an argument. Because the prison's full of people who were first time murderers who killed over things like jealousy and stuff like that.
Yeah, I tell a lot of my couples, do not talk about sticky topics in the car. I have specifically said that to people.
Okay.
Do not, I said, really, really, one thing that I recommend, and it's easy to say, it's easy to do, but it's hard to follow through with. It's a very simple rule, but it's sometimes very difficult to do. If you have any complaint about your partner, you should just wait and talk about it at a time where you're not driving, you're not doing anything else, you're not in the middle of work, you're not in the middle. You really should get permission to bring something up with them. You should say, you know what, there's something that happened 3 days ago and I want to talk to you about it. I've been thinking about it and I really want to talk to you about it. Please tell me when is the best time to talk to you about it.
Mm.
That's when you should talk about things that could possibly get heated. Talking about issues in your relationship in a car is highly unrecommended. Not recommended that you talk about anything sticky. And if it ever anything comes up and things start to unravel in a car, you just say, you know what, let's just end this conversation. Let's talk about it when we get where we need to be.
Hmm.
Do not talk about things like that in a car because all sorts of things can happen in a car. Yeah.
Yeah,
Can
gosh.
you imagine arguing while you're in a car and your nervous
Oh,
system is online? It's
oh,
just
I can't.
awful.
It ain't that I can't imagine it. I've gone through it.
You've gone through that?
Yes. I don't think I'm the only one.
I haven't.
I'm gonna
I don't
ask
think I
I'm gonna
have
ask
though.
everybody in here. Have you ever had like a crazy, heated, yelling, screaming argument with your significant other in the car? Give me a yes in the chat if you've ever gone through that. And I'm serious. Like, yeah. I mean, especially in your 20s,
That is
when
awful.
you're young and in your 20s, it's like you don't even know anything about relationships. You're all you're kind of adults, but you're really not. You're really kids. You just don't know it. You think you're grown because you can have sex and stuff, and you get stuff gets out of control. And I remember I learned in my mid 20s that if things get too out of pocket, especially if I'm dealing with, say a woman that wants to, hit me or throw things, I just realized, I said, you know what? I'm going to shut down. I'm going to walk out.
So you shut down. Okay.
I'm not going to engage with you if you choose
Mhm.
to act in a way that's going to be destructive. Why can't we just walk away?
I don't I don't know if just walking out is a good idea. Like when things start, what you say is that let's talk about this later.
Okay.
So you just don't walk out just by walking.
Okay. Well, maybe
You
that.
owe it to your partner to say, I see that things aren't going that well. Let's gather our thoughts. Let me go for a walk or something, or let me watch television for an hour and let's talk about it later. So
Mm.
you just don't want to you just don't want to just like turn
But
around
you
and
know how
walk
it is.
out. That's not
Sometimes, but
good.
sometimes I mean, I'm married to you, so you don't do this. But I can imagine. I know people that get trapped in relationships with people who won't drop it. Where you say, "Look, I'll talk to you about this later," or "I need time, to process it." And I think that, and the
You
reason.
should give somebody time. That's the thing. I also tell my couples, you listen, if one person has had enough with the conversation, you need to be able to articulate that and say, I've had enough of this conversation. Let's talk about it later.
Yeah.
But
Well.
you can't just say, let's never talk about it ever again. Like if things need to be addressed. But sometimes if it's overwhelming and you just feel like you're not responding well, or you may say and do things that you normally would never say and do, you do need to end the conversation.
Mm,
Temporarily, though.
okay.
It's your responsibility to circle back around and bring it up again.
Okay, good point. By
Hmm.
the way, in case you just came in, you're listening to Pillow Talk with Dr. Boyce and Dr. Alicia Watkins. My name's Dr. Boyce Watkins, and my wife, Dr. Alicia, is a licensed therapist, and she sees couples on a regular basis. Her website is coachingwithdralicia.com. And also, if you could, please hit the thumbs up button. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up, share, subscribe. We are seeking to have an intelligent conversation about what happened with the sister, Nicole Linton, who, and then she's still our sister, even though she made a terrible mistake. And the fact that she drove her car through an intersection in LA
Oh,
and ended up killing a young lady, Asher Ray Ryan, and her boyfriend, her unborn child, and her 1-year-old baby. So hit the thumbs up button if you could. And Alicia's website is coachingwithdralicia.com. I would almost say that, when you're really talking about relationship stuff, here's what's interesting about this lady who caused the accident, Nicole. There were people who identified her from her years of working as a cocktail waitress back in the Bronx.
okay.
And she worked at a place called Sin City. Now, according to the Daily Mail, they said that she worked in a few different strip clubs, but she was a waitress. I don't know if that meant she was stripping or not. But one's called Club 11 and one's called Sin City in the Bronx. Those who knew her then recalled her as a sweet and helpful girl. With former Sin City manager Mike Diaz posted on Facebook after news of the devastating crash broke. He wrote, "Wow, this turns out to be our Nicole from the Sin City days. Everyone who worked with her knows her as a pretty sweet, nice girl. I'm so sorry for her and especially sorry for everyone involved. This is heartbreaking. I hope the outcome is just and fair as possible for all."
Hmm.
And so
Gee.
that speaks to another side, right? Where, even though she did this thing that was just, I mean, just a monstrously devastating act for everybody involved, and she's gonna get
Yeah.
punished for it, as she should be. I think it's okay to see her humanity in this, right? And without justifying what she did. And I say that because I've seen situations where a good person, an otherwise pretty good person, just did something really bad. or
Mhm.
something where if they really knew how bad it was going to be, they wouldn't have done it. Like you think about drunk drivers, right? I believe a lot of drunk drivers get behind the wheel and they're not planning to hurt or kill anybody, right? But then you get behind the wheel, you're drunk, you hit a car, you kill a whole family. The rest of your life, you are labeled as somebody who killed a whole family.
Yeah, and you probably should. I mean, I don't like labels, but that's something that she's gonna have to just incorporate into herself. Yes, that is my story. I have done this awful thing. Like eventually, she has to come to terms with that. She can't. She has to face it. She's gonna have her day where she has to face it, and she has to walk around with that on her shoulders to know that she's got to know there's more to her than the fact that she killed these people, but there's nothing we can do to bring those people back, unfortunately. We
Mm,
can't, like, it is not, and that's the thing with being reckless like that. The consequences for what you do when you make these awful poor choices in the moment, that you just got angry and upset and you just don't care. You just like, I'm just going to floor it into this traffic and I don't care who's affected by that. Those consequences, you can't reverse it. There
yeah,
is no reversing it. And there is no winner. Even if she gets 90 years in prison, there's no winner.
no,
Nobody wins.
no, nobody wins. Well, Clement Gray makes a good point. He believes that there's a gender bias. He thinks that if a man had done this, he was asking, would I say that it was a mistake? Um, well, I'll say just I guess in my own defense, yeah. I mean, it's a mistake, but it was a terrible mistake, and you have to pay a price for it. And so that part I've been consistent with. But I do think he has a good point that perhaps there could be some sort of a bias. Maybe because she's such a pretty lady, and people describe her as a nice girl, and women don't typically get seen as individuals that would go and kill a whole entire family. Maybe people are looking harder for an explanation than they would if she were just a man. Because remember, there was that man in Wisconsin who
Mhm.
got, I don't know if he was drunk or high or neither or both, and he just drove straight through that parade. Remember that? And
Yes.
killed all those
Oh
people.
my goodness,
And
yes.
and yeah, and you're right. I mean, there wasn't a deep conversation. I think with this though, I think the conversation happened here because everybody was black, and I felt like this was a black on black kind of incident that kind of bothered me. I admit,
Mm.
I think if the victim had not been black, I admit I don't know if I would have been as eager to
What about the
address it.
perpetrator? If that family had been, of course, it's a black family, but if it had been some white
Oof.
lady,
Oh, that's heavy too.
what would the conversation be? I mean, how could we say race doesn't make a difference in
Oh,
gender?
race
Race and
matters.
gender always make a
Yes, it
difference. How
does.
could it not? We're
Yes,
all
it does.
biased. Every single one of us have biases based on race, gender, everything.
Mm. So
Yeah.
somebody says here, 110 West says she wasn't suicidal. She had a temper. I don't know. It's a hell of a temper.
Yeah, and I think I wonder how this friend is feeling right now, because she's like, oh my God, I picked up that maybe she was suicidal. It's like, good grief, if you have a friend in trouble who's in that much pain, man, you need to speak up and say something. Like, girl, I'm coming over there, and I'm not leaving your house until you see somebody. You have to
Mm.
take like extreme measures, I think, when you see that you have a friend that's just like sinking down and unraveling.
Yeah.
And then it's like people who are in so much pain like that, they let other people know that they're in pain. Like
Mm.
they're it's not like they keep it to themselves. They usually, people who try to commit suicide, they tell at least a couple of people that's something that they're thinking about,
Mm.
you
Ivy
know.
Yancey's asking, do you think she can ever recover?
I think she can recover.
Okay.
I think she can recover. I'm not recover like she's going to be walking out and living a full life, like in her nursing capacity. I think that she can recover in the sense where hopefully she'll get the services she needs in that prison, so that she can still, even though she can feel regretful, and I think that she should definitely feel very, very guilty and be able to face the families
Mm.
of the law of the people who've been lost, but somehow rectify and in her way do some really wonderful things in prison that you can do to kind of to make it right. I hope she carries this with her forever.
Mm. Yeah, and
Mm-hmm.
she will.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Mm-hmm.
her life has changed forever, and it's sad to watch.
There are wonderful things people can do in prison to kind of make up for some of the things that they've done.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
prison. I'm thinking if you use it right, it
Yeah.
can become a place where you can really
Oh, please,
improve
yes.
yourself.
People have written books in prison. People
Hmm.
have done all sorts of really wonderful things with assistance, of course.
Hmm.
Yeah, I never think it's over for anybody. I always have hope for everybody.
Well, let's have hope for her.
It's never too late.
And hope for this family.
Oh my
My
goodness.
heart goes out to the family, and I wish them the best in their healing process. And actually, did you notice that the family, they actually forgave her sister, the sister of the victim's Asher Ray Ryan. Asher Ray's sister literally said, "We forgive you,"
Mm-hmm.
and
Oh.
and I thought that was pretty heavy, pretty.
I don't know if I would be saying something like that so
Nah, I wouldn't.
soon
Right,
by the accident.
right.
It'll be a process for me to integrate into my life in order for me to get to the point to forgive somebody. And I think we're just too quick to forgive. What is up with that? Like,
Yeah.
allow yourself to feel anger. Allow your like the most compassionate thing you can do for yourself is allow yourself to feel the range of emotions that's going through your body. You should allow yourself to feel all of that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, by the way, I decided to share an interesting mental health fact for the day that you guys could take with you. The most common mental illnesses are anxiety and depression. I have an
Oh
app that
my
gives me little
goodness.
facts like that.
Yes, you know what? I think I say about I don't want to say 98, but I'm going to say 95% of the clients that I see individual I also see individual people about 95 I almost want to say 100% have some form of anxiety and depression.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's probably just all of them. Everybody.
Yeah, and if you're feeling
Yeah.
that way, there's no shame. Get some help. There's solutions out there. There are things
Hmm.
that can make you feel better. So take care of yourself. Love yourself. Find your happiness. Find your peace.
Hmm. I will say something about the pandemic and everything being shut down. Where in a lot of ways it did wonders for work relationships and for families. It did wonders, but on the other hand, I think anxiety and depression just spiked for a lot of populations. and
Hmm.
and when I was in my private practice, for the first time we had a waiting list during the pandemic.
Wow.
I mean,
Wow.
it was never before seen so many people were reaching out for mental health services during the pandemic.
Hmm.
And here we are, we're kind of lifting up from the pandemic. And it's just, I don't know. I feel like right now we have this mental health crisis going on,
Hmm.
especially in the Black community,
I
a
think so
mental
too.
health crisis. All of us just need to just get some assistance.
I think we all do. I
Yeah.
agree with you. I agree. Well, everybody, my name is Dr. Boyce Watkins, and this is my wife, Dr. Alicia Watkins, and this is our podcast, Pillow Talk with Dr. Boyce and Dr.
Hmm.
Alicia Watkins. And if you could take 1 second, hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up, share, subscribe. My doctorate's in finance. My wife's doctorate's in social work. She's a licensed therapist that sees couples. I'm the founder of the Black Business School. We have 150,000 students worldwide, and our goal is to help you improve your life. And my wife is going to join us at the All Black National Convention, which happens
Yes.
October 28th through the 30th. And we're going to have all kinds of panels and trainings and everything else on everything from relationships to investing to politics and crypto. We're going to be joined by the chairman of the Air Jordan brand, Larry Miller, who's going to talk about how he took Michael Jordan's company from 300 million a year to 3 billion. Billionaire Mike Roberts is going to be there. We're going to have all kinds of experts in every area you can imagine. And it's a really great gathering spot if you love Black people and you want to be around other really amazing people that believe Black people should have strong families, be intelligent, and lead ourselves into the 21st century. So if you are interested in coming to the convention, you can actually find passes as well as opportunities to be a vendor if you have a business by going to boycewatkins.com. Just stop at boycewatkins.com. And again, we gather October 28th through the 30th in Charlotte, North Carolina, at the really nice downtown Sheraton Hotel. It's a lot of fun. So you
Yeah.
want to talk about your speed dating you're going to do this year at the convention?
Yeah, we'll do it again on Friday night. And is
Yeah.
that the first night? It's the first night. I think it's important to have that speed dating on the first night so that everybody can see who all the singles are. Because you don't want to make it awkward.
Yeah,
You
yeah. I think it's
don't
good that.
make it
Yeah, I
awkward.
think it's good that the speed dating is early and the speed networking is early
Yeah.
because if you meet people you connect with, you
Hmm.
can spend 2 or 3 days getting to know that person.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's pretty cool. You can go.
Yeah, some people get to baby making by the end of the weekend.
That's
Oh Lord.
that's what's up. That's what I love. I love that sort of thing. Yeah.
Well, love is a good thing, right?
Oh, look at
Black
us.
love is beautiful. Yeah, that was when we were on that. We went on that cruise. That was a lot of fun
That
too.
was our anniversary cruise.
Yes, it was our 1 year anniversary. Yeah.
Hmm.
Wow. All right,
That was
everybody.
nice.
Well, Dennis says he's interested. Well, yeah, you should be interested, and we'd love to see you there. So feel free to go to my website, boycewatkins.com, and you can learn all about the convention, how to be a vendor, so you can promote your business or a sponsor. We'll promote your business for you, things like that. And also, if you'd like to learn more about what Dr. Alicia is doing, you can go to coachingwithdralicia.com. So, everybody, thank you for hanging out with us. It was real. God bless you. And we do our pillow talks all late at night and stuff. And look at this. Everybody's here with us in the middle of the night.
That's
And if you're
fun.
watching the recording, we love you too. And also, you can find my podcast on Spotify. If you look up the Dr. Boyce Breakdown, we put the pillow talks in there as well. So just look up the Dr. Boyce Breakdown on Spotify if you happen to be in your car. So take care, everybody. Have a good night.
Okay. Bye, everyone.